And our first speaker is the Mayor of Kyrenia, Glafkos Kariolou. Glafkos.
Dear friends, αγαπητοί φίλοι, καλησπέρα σας. Απόψε θα ήθελα να σας μιλήσω με έναν διαφορετικό τρόπο. Θα σας πάρω πίσω αρκετά χρόνια, αλλά πρώτα επιτρέψτε μου να πω από πού είμαι. First of all, let me lead you back and tell you from where I come from. Cyprus, you all know, and you can see there the hydrocarbon area. Kyrenia, King Kiphaeus established here 1,600 years before Christ, the Queen of the North. And this is the district of Kyrenia. And this is Kyrenia, my town, my hometown, out of approximately 12,000 years when the human being appeared in Cyprus. I don't think I would need that. It's not very working. It's not working. So the Greek presence out of these 12,000 years has been for 3,600 years. The Turkish presence on the island was for 440 years. That is 4% of human existence on the island of Cyprus. However, in this 4%, we can see the destruction and genocidal catastrophe suffered on the island during this 4% of human existence on the island is second to none. During the first, and I insist always to reiterate that we had the second Turkish invasion in 1974, it is extremely important to overemphasize that. The first Turkish invasion in June 1570 devastated the island, suffering hecatombs of victims exceeding 37,000 dead, according to non-Greek scientists. In 1570, Nicosia, 20,000 dead. A year later, when Famagusta fell, 17,000 dead. In 1821, 400 prominent Greek Orthodox leaders were slaughtered or hanged to death by the Turks. There you can see the fleeing or descamating of Marcantonio Bragadino by the Turks. In fact, they filled him up with hay, poor fellow, and they tied him on the yard of the sheep of the Pasha and carried him all the way to Syria and Istanbul, or Constantinople. Following the second Turkish invasion on Cyprus in 74, apart from 7,000 dead and missing, 575 churches have been desecrated, heavily damaged. 19 churches were completely demolished. 41 churches have been converted to mosques or anything you can imagine. From army depots, urinating spots, tourist nightclubs, and even as mortuaries. Since 1974, only a few religious services have been allowed in occupied Cyprus, with discouraging restrictions, humiliations, and interruptions. They always emphasize how proud it is to be by destroying mountains, desecrating churches, day and night. Removing this could be a simple, yet most revealing and essential confidence-building measure, revealing if there is any Turkish intention to have a unified Cyprus and not a Turkish protectorate with its own Turkish symbols flagged on European Cyprus. The destruction of Cypriot cultural heritage in occupied Cyprus, especially in the district of Kyrenia, is scientifically documented. The question is, what do we do about it? What did we do today for saving our cultural heritage? What did we do today to go back home? Those are the questions to be answered. The suggestion I have for you hopes to navigate you on an alternative course, a most difficult course, on a holy and patriotic duty, a course towards our rerouting, στο επαναρρίζωμα, πίσω στους τόπους μας, return to our roots, a gradual return back home, passing through a systematic and persistent reconstruction, re-establishment, restoration, maintenance and protection of our damaged cultural heritage in the district and in the town of Kyrenia, and of course, all over the occupied part of the European island. The Church of St. George of Upper Kyrenia is an example. On the 22nd of July 74, after heavy fire and many murders of innocent human civilian lives, the Turkish army entered the town of Kyrenia. In the days that followed, the Turkish army desecrated most churches in my town, except one, the Church of St. George of Upper Kyrenia. Why? Only St. George knows. The church is situated in a typical Cypriot mixed neighborhood, next to a Turkish Cypriot house, a Greek Cypriot house, and even in some few cases, we have Greek Cypriot Kyrenians who are married to Turkish Cypriot Kyrenians living in the same neighborhood, exactly the same neighborhood. The church did have substantial external damage, but internally, there were very few scratches on icons, and unlike most desecrated churches in the occupied areas, nothing was stolen. From 2004, I repeat, from 2004 until 2007, a colossal effort to repair and preserve this church has been undertaken by a Greek Cypriot Kyrenian, Mr. Technis, assisted by a number of other Greek Cypriot Kyrenians, together and under the supervision of a Turkish Cypriot architect, the late Necdet Turgay. Why do I say colossal? It means sometimes losing ego and dignity. In November 2012, 6 months in advance, we, the Kyrenians, the Kyrenian municipality, we requested permission to the United Nations to hold the traditional Easter Monday, Vespers of Love, reunification service with flauras and traditional red eggs on the 6th of May 2013. Many Turkish Cypriot Kyrenians, I must tell you, have been waiting to take part. This was to take place for the first time after 74 in full congregation. Approximately 100 to 200 Kyrenians, Greek Cypriot Kyrenians, were to take part.
Mr. President, dear colleagues, may I draw your attention to the town of Kyrenia in Cyprus, whose inhabitants became refugees after the Turkish invasion and who love to return to their homes. Still, there are about 1,000 people missing, and the respective families still do not know about the fate of their beloved ones. Though, most important for the moment being, may I make the Kyrenians heard and ask to support their plans on celebrating the forthcoming Easter Vesper on Monday, May 6 next year in the Church of St. George of Upper Kyrenia, the only church being in operational condition in this area. After 39 years, about 300 Kyrenians from all over the world actually plan on celebrating this important holiday in their former hometown. Let us contribute to make this plan possible. It is certainly to be considered a humanitarian act, allowing them to celebrate Easter together in this meaningful place. Thank you.
So even the European Parliament was sensitive enough to speak for the first time about a little town in Kyrenia. However, quite unexpectedly, everybody was expecting that they were going to say yes. because the Turkish Cypriot Karyiannis were waiting for us. Everybody was waiting. And they said 4 working days before the events, they said no officially through the United Nations. The Turkish Cypriot side has declined your request. That was their answer. We believe the help of the Greek Cypriot organizations in the diaspora can continue being substantial. The help they gave us can be very substantial, and we are begging you to continue your efforts reporting the Turkish behavior to the responsible authorities of Great Britain. The main constitutional guarantor we have, it is Great Britain. They have guaranteed our right to religion. And not only that, and they are constitutionally obliged to do that. There you can see some people from the team that they have participated in the reconstruction of the church. In case number 2, the ancient ship of Kyrenia. In 2012, we have been informed by 2 prominent United States scientists that sandust and samite sandstone was falling from the roof where the Kyrenia ship is held. The Kyrenia ship, it's a global treasure for those that they don't know. It's a 300 BC merchantman, unique in the world because over 60% of its shell, of its hull, it's very well preserved in polyethylene glycol in the castle of Kyrenia. So, in spite of the fact that the value and fame of the ship is globally unique, we don't believe that Turkey looks after the ship properly. There are stones falling from the roof on top of the hull, and it's in danger. So what did we do? We paid 2 visits with the assistance of the American scientists inside the room, using laser beam measuring devices and a lot of photographs. We investigated the situation, and we took all the details to a Kyrenian, very an expert civil engineer on heavy structure, Mr. Vassos Damaskinos, a volunteer, and he actually designed a special telescopic ray-moving Perspex glass umbrella in order to temporarily protect the ship. The Frost Foundation in the UK will probably be a major sponsor of the necessary protection works for the ship, together with the European Union and other funding institutions. In the meantime, the United States Embassy will probably be funding a bicommunal program for restorers for both the 300 BC Hellenic shipwrecks, the Kyrenia shipwreck and the Mazotos shipwreck. We believe that's a very good chance for the youngsters, the Kyrenian youth from 40 years and below, to participate in this program and get to know their town and their heritage. We believe that we have enough of analysis. We have to go into action, and we have to measure and appraise ourselves by the month and by the year. We have to devise measuring, grading. We have to grade ourselves every year. How many Kyrenians were rehabilitated back in Kyrenia last year? That's a very important question. How many new young biomatic Kyrenians have been developed who are actively working for their return back to Kyrenia last year? I must tell you, I must reveal to you that we are losing 1.2 to 1.5 biomatic Kyrenians, meaning of my age, people that they have actually lived in Kyrenia, per month. 1.2 to 1.5 per month. Those have to be replaced by youngsters. Number 3, how many cemeteries have been recovered, maintained and protected last year? How many churches, monasteries, chapels and places of religion have been recovered, maintained and recommenced their function last year? If you wish, how many icons returned? How many people helped Dasulla to recover these icons? And so on and so forth. And you can devise your own measuring items of how we must appraise ourselves. How many times was therapy exposed last year? We consider these projects as a challenge for young Greek Cypriot Kyrenian scientists who shall have the chance to hopefully live and work for many hours in Kyrenia, in churches, in monasteries, learning about their country. They have to know which is their house, which is their property, which is the house of their grandmother, their cousin. They have to go there, they have to confront the Turkish occupation. We can no longer stand these idle stands we have been keeping for 39 years. We have to go there, otherwise these 570 churches might be demolished. We have to do something about it. I thank you very much. I dedicate these to these two friends. This is Mr. Dimas Eftivoulou and this is Mr. Andreas Kariolou. They are both Kyrenians, and for us, the Kyrenians, each one of them has given us a very strange thing. Dimas Eftivoulou, for the Kyrenians, he brought the Amazon River to us. And we now know about the Amazon River. Andreas Kariolou brought the ancient ship of Kyrenia. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Glafkos. That was very, very inspirational and very, very interesting.